The NBA is hard. The extreme difficulty of entering the NBA makes even getting looked at a great achievement in itself. Getting drafted and actually making it in the league are two different things though. Every NBA player experiences the opportunity of getting drafted, but it's making a name for yourself that's the real challenge. Throughout the history of the NBA, there have been many players who have failed to reach their full potential. And in the NBA world, these players are most commonly referred to as busts. This basically means that they were supposed to be one thing but ended up being something completely different. Today I take a look at the NBA's biggest draft bust in the last 10 years. Welcome to NBA Insider. Drafted 6th overall in 2009 by the Minnesota Timberwolves, Johnny Flynn was supposed to be the next best thing to come out of Niagara Falls. Flynn was a solid point guard in his rookie year, starting in all 81 games he played. He even made a game winner for the Jazz during his rookie year when he averaged a promising 13.5 points per game. The crazy thing here, however, isn't only the fact that he fell off, but he was a point guard who was selected ahead of Stephen Curry, Brandon Jennings, Drew Holiday, Ty Lawson, Jeff Teague, and Darren Collison. Talk about bad luck. In 2010, the Miami Heat drafted Michael Beasley as the 2nd overall pick. A reasonable decision considering he was averaging 26.2 points per game during his freshman year at Kansas State. In fact, it was one of the greatest freshman years in recent NCAA history. But after being thrown around by more than 3 teams, Beasley's career is at a crossroads. Michael Beasley was taken ahead of Russell Westbrook and Kevin Love, but the fact is Miami could have drafted the 42nd pick in Goran Dragic that year and still be satisfied. Drafted 3rd overall in 2006 by the Charlotte Bobcats, Adam Morrison was supposed to be a star. And of course, Morrison's 30-point game during his rookie season with the Bobcats made it seem like he was going to be. However, that turned out to be his career peak. His field goal percentage was disgraceful and a torn ACL ruined his career, turning him into a bench rider. It wasn't all bad though. Morrison got 2 NBA championships before going to Serbia. Now I know you're wondering what people saw in this guy. Well, for starters, Adam was a 6'8" scoring legend when he was coming out of college. In his final year at Gonzaga, Morrison was named NCAA Player of the Year with averages of nearly 30 points per game, and he seemed to have the size, skill, and shooting ability to make it in the NBA. The Bobcats thought the same, and the young franchise chose Morrison ahead of stars such as Brandon Roy, Rudy Gay, and even JJ Redick. Unfortunately, the preseason of his rookie year was ruined after he went down with a torn ACL and never recovered. But on the bright side, Morrison does own a championship ring as a member of the 2009-2010 Los Angeles Lakers, where he appeared in 31 games, averaging less than 8 minutes per game. The Jimmer Fredette sensation over at BYU wasn't really that long ago. The man was a king during his senior year, winning the 2011 Player of the Year award. His jumper was automatic in college, but that skill became a memory when he was drafted by the Sacramento Kings in 2011 as the number 10 pick. Jimmer has been in the league 5 years and has already been tossed between 3 teams. Fredette was a college icon who the Kings hoped would appeal to fans and help them to build a successful team. Unfortunately for them, they missed out because the next pick in the NBA draft was Klay Thompson. Drafted 1st overall in 2009, the Raptors invested a lot of time trying to make Andrea Bargnani into a legitimate scoring threat. For a short time, it looked like it worked. Bargnani was the team's leading scorer during the 2010-2011 NBA season, but his numbers eventually started declining as he kept missing a significant amount of games the following season. Even as he went on to play for the Knicks, his performance just continued to decline. Thomas Robinson was once a promising 21-year-old power forward with serious skills around the basket. He was so talented that the Sacramento Kings took him 5th overall in the 2012 draft, ahead of Damian Lillard, Harrison Barnes, Andre Drummond, and Draymond Green. But they must have figured out something early as he was traded just a few months into his rookie season in a 3-way deal to the Houston Rockets. His career never really took off with Houston, and now at just 24 years old, he's playing with the Brooklyn Nets, his 5th team since coming into the league. Robinson has put up career averages of 13.8 minutes, 4.9 points, and 4.8 rebounds per game while starting just a grand total of 11 of his 265 career NBA games. But it's his draft status and the success of the players taken after him that will always label Robinson as one of the biggest draft busts of the current generation. There were a lot of questions about small forward Evan Turner when he went pro in 2011, mainly regarding the fact that his game was not well suited for the NBA. He wasn't quick enough to be the kind of player who slashed to the basket, and he didn't shoot well enough to score consistently from outside. But the 76ers took their chances, picking him second overall, hoping these skills would develop and eventually he'd become a big time scorer. Well, that didn't really work out. Turner has not yet developed into someone with an ability to shoot 3-pointers, hitting just 30.5% in his career. Being able to shoot from a distance is almost a necessity in the modern NBA, which makes the pick even more worse. Philadelphia could have taken DeMarcus Cousins, Greg Monroe, Paul George, or Gordon Hayward instead. All of these players have developed into better contributors than Turner. But of course, all of that doesn't mean Turner can't have a successful career. He's averaged 10.7 points, 5.2 rebounds, and 3.8 assists, and is built as a player you can bring off the bench for some points. However, Turner's lack of being able to step up his game to the NBA level combined with his draft status make him one of the biggest draft busts of the last 10 years. Anthony Bennett is somewhat of a forgotten name around the NBA. He was one of several #1 overall picks that the Cleveland Cavaliers landed in the response to LeBron James leaving to the Miami Heat. Unfortunately, Bennett's career has never really gotten off the ground. Bennett had a disappointing rookie year with Cleveland, averaging 4.2 points in 12.8 minutes per game as a 20-year-old and only playing 52 games. LeBron James made his decision to return home that offseason, encouraging the Cavs to remove the young players off the roster. This sent Bennett in a package to Minnesota for Kevin Love. Bennett played one season with the Timberwolves, showing little improvement, and the team actually released him that summer. The Toronto Raptors gave Bennett a chance last season, but he spent the majority of the year bouncing between Toronto and the D-League until he was eventually waived on March 1st. He recently signed with the Brooklyn Nets. They are giving the 23-year-old a clean slate and what is probably his last opportunity to develop a career. Greg Oden is a sad story. When he was in college at Ohio State, people joked that the 19-year-old looked like he was already 40. Little did they know that his knees resembled those of a 60-year-old. Oden was taken first overall in the 2007 draft by the Portland Trail Blazers, but he was unable to play in his rookie year due to chronic knee problems. He appeared the following year with a solid first year, averaging 8.9 points and 7 rebounds in 61 games. But he only played 21 games the following year and then had to sit out 3 entire seasons due to his many knee injuries. Oden attempted an NBA comeback at the age of 26, playing in 23 games in 2013 for the Miami Heat, and he even nearly won a championship ring out of it. Unfortunately for him, the Heat would lose in the NBA Finals against the San Antonio Spurs. Oden didn't return the following year, and despite rumors that he'd like to attempt another comeback, he has never had another team give him a shot. Kevin Durant was taken second in the draft during Oden's year, and Al Horford, Mike Conley, Joakim Noah, and Thaddeus Young all went in the top 12. To make matters worse, if Portland had been so eager to get a big man in the 2007 draft, they could have simply waited and taken Marc Gasol. Even some of the most hardcore of NBA fans won't recognize HASHEEM THABEET as the ultimate draft bust of the last decade. When Blake Griffin went first overall to the Los Angeles Clippers, the Memphis Grizzlies were on the clock and looking for a player who could help them return to the playoffs. Despite the presence of Gasol, who had averaged 11.9 points and 7.5 rebounds as a 24-year-old the last season, the Grizzlies decided to draft 7'3" THABEET instead of any number of quality future NBA players, such as James Harden, Ricky Rubio, and 2-time league MVP Stephen Curry. THABEET's best season came in his rookie year when he played in 68 games and averaged 3.1 points and 3.6 rebounds per game. THABEET ended up being traded to the Houston Rockets for Shane Battier and then later to the Portland Trail Blazers for Marcus Camby. He signed a free agent deal with the Oklahoma City Thunder in 2012, but still struggled to put together a career worthy of a backup center in the NBA. THABEET was later traded to the 76ers, released, signed by the Pistons, and released yet again just prior to the 2015 NBA season. And that concludes the video. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more content like this, feel free to show some love by leaving a like and subscribing. Also, if you have any thoughts and or recommendations for future videos, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. Until next time, this has been another segment of NBA Insider. Thanks for watching.